Sup, you chuckle fucks? It's your boy Dark Aku here with another what if, because or did I say that right? What if? No, not what if. Mostly, yeah. Sup, chuckle fucks? It's your boy Dark Aku. I talk really fast and I fuck myself over. Not the point. Wait. Not the point. Let me begin into this what if. So pretty much this is a new what if that I thought of after the fact that I thought of mostly what if Issei was Gojo's or mostly Satoru Gojo was mostly Issei's older brother or younger brother. You get the point, right? Yeah, from that what if in the morning. And not gonna lie, so many people comment on that fucking video saying part two, part two, part two, where's part two, where's this part, blah 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 blah. And also someone asked me and where fucking Issei was from the Gojo clan part 3 was at. And I replied, potato. And I also said, I don't know, but whatever. But pretty much, if you, I will probably bring back the Gojo clan one. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe after I finish the, mostly the older brother thing, because they're not gonna, it's really, let me say something. It's pretty much into 2 parts. I'm going to probably finish it, because second part should be the end of it, or maybe I'll think about something else, and then I might end it off in that part, but not the point. But yeah, not the point. Let me just begin to this what if, but not the point. So this is called What If Issei Gave Up on Life. No, I'm just kidding. Pretty much, I haven't thought of the what if. I did think of the what if, and this is pretty much what if Issei mostly became, or mostly not Issei, what if Aku, who is actually Issei's hatred, mostly his hatred / nightmare side, actually took over his body. But yeah, or took, mostly Issei gave up. Or yeah, I will think of the what if and mostly how I'm gonna do this. But yeah, mostly the what if title later, because yeah. But that's not the point here or there. Let me begin into this what if. Let me shut the fuck up and let me begin. Because tomorrow I'm probably going to be working on a shed, because pretty much that was mostly what I was doing today. And I was scratchy as shit, but not the point. I gotta really put some kind of like, does this work? Actually, I look at a bottle just because it kind of says poison ivy scratch, or mostly whatever. It's like this ointment. And I was just wondering if it works, because I have this rash near my neck, but not the point. I scratch a lot. That's probably because of all the dust and dirt that was on the shed, but not the point. So yeah, so pretty much tomorrow I'm probably going to be working probably in the morning and the afternoon. I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but yeah, maybe I'm going to still be working. Hope not. But also I should mention one thing. No, that will be later. But yeah, not the point. Other than that, let me begin this what if. Let me shut the fuck up. I took 3 minutes of your time, so even if you want to complain, shut the fuck up. So let me begin. Okay, so we begin into mostly Issei Hyodo, a boy who is actually known as Issei Hyodo. At the same time, he might not be named Issei Hyodo for too much longer, because well, we go into where he's right now at. He did fight against the Chaos Brigade a while ago. Yes, he did fight against the Chaos Brigade a while ago. Now, before I continue on with this what if, the song that might be playing in the background, or not might be playing in the background, because this song will literally fit well with this mostly what if. Also, there's 2 songs that I really thought of that would literally fit well with mostly the what if Gojo one. Mostly the, yeah, you get the point, the other what if that I did in the morning. But the song, those 2 songs I will mention on part 2 of that what if, but for this one, I will mention it now, and it goes really fucking well, because I was hearing that song, and I was like, you know what, this shit hits hard, and it actually make kind of sense for this what if, but not the point. Let me show you what song it is called, and you can probably like hear it while me kind of like doing this what if, okay? So this song, mostly there's actually 2 songs I thought about it, but pretty much the first one is called Monsters. Yeah, Monster Made of Memory, made by Citizen Soldier. Pretty much, yeah, the other song is going to literally still kind of be made by the same creator. And the 2 other songs I'm going to do for mostly the Gojo one is actually also still made by it, but not the point. And also the second one for if you want to hear it through when I'm making this what if, but mostly. Okay, mostly now I thought of 3 songs, but yeah. So this one is not the second one. Mostly the second one was basically called "Thank You for Hating Me," made by Citizen Soldier. But the third one, now that I heard about it, is "Lone with Myself," made by Citizens. Yeah, you can hear whichever song. It will kind of make kind of sense throughout this what if, but not the point. But if it doesn't make sense for you, then I'm sorry. But it mostly made sense when I was actually hearing these songs. But yeah, if it's not, if these songs aren't really type, mostly the songs that you're going to be hearing, if it's not your type of songs to be hearing, because some of the songs are kind of tragic as hell. Some of them maybe might be disturbing, but not much. I mean, it's kind of like a tragic song, somewhat, and it does make sense because some of the what ifs I do are kind of tragic, but not the point. And some of them are usually just kind of for fun, but not the point. But yeah, other than that, so yeah, you can actually see some of the songs that I usually just hear when I'm actually thinking of what ifs. Not the point that much. There's other songs that I hear, mostly either like pump songs or not the point, that usually give me motivation to actually do what ifs, but not the point. But yeah, other than that, let me begin. Let me just begin into what if. I ramble on a little bit. But we go into the boy named Issei, a brownish haired boy with mostly goldenish brown eyes. Now, they won't be that color for too long, both his eyes and his color of his hair. He does have tannish skin, but it won't become tannish skin. It will become something else later. But we go into him right now. Go into the ORC, a group of club made out of devils. He's also a devil. He's a devil incarnation. He was saved by a red-haired beauty a long time ago from his old ex-girlfriend. But he's going to realize that most of the people that he trusts will just kind of push him away or throw him away because they won't understand his feelings later on. But this way, well, we go into him kind of getting to the club, having a cheerful smile because he thinks that nothing will go wrong. He also has a fight with Sir Orcus, but not the point. He did just fight against the Chaos Brigade a while ago, and of course managed to kick the shit out of Cal, or mostly Cow. This is where, well, he's happy, he's smiling, he's glad, and other things, but yeah, also, goddamn, I really have to turn off those damn notifications half the time. But this is where, well, when he gets towards mostly the club, everything like an original canon will still kind of happen. Rias Grimmer is a girl with reddish hair and kind of bluish greenish eyes, but not the point. People say it's blue, sometimes it's greenish, whatever. I'm just gonna say it's like bluish greenish, who cares? This way, well, she actually asked Issei one question after mostly kind of meeting up with mostly Raffle, who's actually Raffle Phoenix is mostly a girl with blondish hair, mostly pigtails, blondish hair. That's where they're kind of trill. She does have bluish eyes, and she's the younger sister of Rising Phoenix, but not the point. They kind of met up with mostly her mother for mostly a hologram, and of course mostly the mother of Raffle did ask Issei to protect Raffle and have a close eye on her and blah blah blah, and actually kind of admit the fact that she wanted both of them to get closer, like both husband and wife, but not the point. Right now in front of Rias. Now Issei didn't understand too much of love that much because he's still very close off. And of course, well, he still wants to admit his feelings towards mostly Rias about mostly how he feels about her. But it's all going to change after mostly Rias asks Issei about how mostly he feels about all of them, or mostly her specifically. This is where, well, Issei original canon, just like original canon, would say how he kind of feels about, because he didn't understand the question too much. Because, not gonna lie, I will also kind of be a little bit dumb and not understanding the question, but not the point. I would literally think it's just because they're friends, teammates, or whatever. But this is where, well, mostly when Issei does kind of answer the questions and just says that he just kind of tells Eric that he's going to protect everyone because it's his teammates at the same time as friends. He then kind of tells Butchu that he will protect Butchu because Butchu's Butchu. And this is where, well, mostly Rias gets angry and tells Baka. She runs out, and of course very angrily. Of course, when Issei tries to go after her, Akuno stops him. Of course, Akuno, Irina, Zenobia, and like the others do kind of prepare bombard him, well, mostly like insulting him, insulting him for the fact that he's an idiot and didn't understand Butcher's feelings. This is where, well, Issei didn't understand too much, but we then go into a time skip of mostly Issei not being able to leave the kind of ORC, but not able to kind of, well, like he can't leave and he can't stay because mostly they don't like him to stay. because he didn't understand mostly Rya's feelings. But he can't leave because Akuno thinks that mostly Issei is going to go look for Rya's. And Issei isn't doing that because Issei's emotions are kind of in turmoil for right now. Not too much turmoil, but enough turmoil to believe that he did something wrong, and now he's actually having the same thought of mostly what's it called, Rainer kind of piercing him and just showing his heart and other things. So of course he's right now in a turmoil state. But this where after the club meeting was over, this where Issei got to leave and mostly get to a park that's quite familiar. And when he gets to this park, his emotions were right now kind of dead a little bit. He kind of sat down on a bench that was near his mostly spot of where he died. This is where Issei was kind of mostly thinking about why everyone hates him. The song is right now playing mostly. If you're wondering which song it'll be playing, that you might think about it, but it's most of the song. What's it called? So the song you might need to play is basically "Thank You for Hating Me" because it kind of makes sense, but not the point. So, of course, mostly when Issei is actually kind of like thinking of a lot of things, the song does play in the background, but not the point. But this is where, thanks to his earbuds, because he just plays like random songs. And this is where, mostly he's just thinking of life. This is where Diedrich has not actually answered or even kind of heard any of Issei's emotions. It's because, we go into a flashback. Mostly, Issei one day was sleeping while mostly he was kind of just tired from the fact that he fought against mostly Cao. Rias and mostly the others came into mostly Issei's room, but not to kind of cuddle with him, but instead to ask Diedrich. By kind of telling him to be quiet and don't tell mostly Issei about mostly Rias' feelings. Now, of course, Diedrich wanted to argue, but decides to just not argue because Rias right now plead to him not to say anything right now because she actually wanted to see if Issei would be able to reciprocate, kind of bring out his feelings and other things. Even though he couldn't because, first of all, he's mentally scarred from mostly his first girlfriend. There's really no way for him to actually be able to bring it out unless being forced. But yeah. But this is where, mostly we go into mostly back into Issei. So of course Issei did try to call out Diedrich. Well, not really call out Diedrich. Mostly his emotions did try to call him out, but Diedrich was ignoring him. And entirely, but yeah, until the day kind of was over, and to comfort him later or something, or maybe just let Issei try to figure out what happened. But yeah, he doesn't really understand too much about love, and so he doesn't care too much. So of course, mostly Issei is feeling so dark, so lonely, like there's no one around him. This is where, he kind of thinks of all the hatred thoughts, or not hatred thoughts, mostly the hateful words that mostly everyone said in the ORC, and how mostly Rias calls him a baka and everything, just blah, blah, blah. This is where red aura started appearing around him. His eyes, his hair, his skin started changing. But this is where, we go into someone out of his corner of his eye kind of appearing. Well, it wasn't the song called Thank You for Hating Me, it was mostly the song called, so yeah, no, this, I fucked this up. But the song is called Monster Made Out of Memory, so yeah, this one makes more sense to me now that I think of it. Why did I think of the other one, but not the point. So pretty much, he was kind of like looking like he was becoming dead, mostly emotionless. And of course, where he did pull out a knife to kind of cut himself, and this is where blood started dripping out from his hands. But this is where, he was doing it with his right hand, and his left hand actually moved to actually grab his right hand to stop him from actually cutting himself. Because he was actually becoming quite emotionless, and he needed something to feel, someone like how emo people do sometimes. This is where, mostly he was confused until this is where, in his corner of his eye, he kind of noticed something moving. Very, like this darkness sludge thing was moving. But this is where, he fell into unconscious. He wasn't meeting up with Diedrich, no. He was meeting up with the darkness, mostly the memories of hatred, despair, and everything right now reforming right in front of him. This is where, when he kind of woke up into mostly his mindscape, that's what he saw. Like this completely red energy figure. It was a complete demonic black energy figure. It kind of looked like this. It looked like this entirely. This is where, mostly Issei widened his eyes in confusement. But before he was able to kind of like get away or even move away, the figure started disappearing. All like the black energy around him started disappearing. But of course, it left him right in front of him to kind of looking like a kind of like dark version of himself. This dark version had a reddish aura around him, while most of his clothing was kind of gray, like kind of grayish color. While his skin was also grayish, his eyes were red, and of course his hair was black. This is where, there was still darkness with him, mostly on his like clothes, but this is where, it was like seeping down towards like his down on his feet, but not the point. This is where, Issei was confused and said, "Who are you?" This is where, mostly the other figure that looks like Issei kind of just looks at him, and of course, the where, with both eyes being red and just looking at Issei's goldenish brown eye color. This is where, Issei's like fear started creeping into his throat, so of course he can barely talk. And this is where, before anything happens, the figure actually speaks. "If you must know who I am basically your nightmare version. You can call me Aku. Instead of being just called Nightmare Issei, you can call me Aku." Issei looks at Aku and says, I see. Uh, well, what am I doing here? You awaken me from your negative emotions. There's so many emotions that are going through your body. You seem to be also cutting yourself. You know, you're not an emo bastard. Isn't that something that I'm supposed to do, not you? You're the true version of mostly all emotions of entire conscious. And yet, you were the one doing this instead of me doing it for you. I stopped you because you were doing something idiotic. This where, that's what mostly Aku kind of said. Issei said, okay, then why do you care? If you're the negative and hatred version of me, wouldn't you just let me die and just like say done with it? Yes, that's what I would do most of the time. But I took pity on you. You see here, your stupid dragon over there hasn't awakened any damn time soon. And it's better if it doesn't wake up anytime soon now that I think about it. Because it seems the stupid dragon was with the whole plan of mostly the Grimoire. This is where, mostly Issei was confused and said, what are you talking about? This is where Aku says, even if I explain it to you, you won't understand that much. You would then think that you will have to apologize to her, blah blah blah. Which is so completely stupid, in my opinion. When clearly her stupid fucking plan was just stupid, in my opinion, and what it just, in my opinion, was all completely stupid and other things. This is where Issei was confused, but this is where Aku says, look here, I'm giving you two choices. I tell you about her stupid plan and the reason why she kind of did all that and why she was upset and other things. But I'm also going to tell you and how you got reincarnated and other stuff. Or, second option, you let me take over your body. And don't worry, I won't kill anyone. I will just make your body much more stronger. You'll be in the conscious world and you will be able to somehow repair your emotions. Because if I let you out right now, with all that information I'm going to tell you, you're going to snap and you might go into Juggernaut Drive and lose all your life form, mostly your last bit of life form. Does it work? Issei said, how can I trust you? How can you trust me? I don't know. Maybe because the second option, I'm willing to help you. You realize that I'm the negative version of you. I'm the nightmare version of you. The hatred, the malice, all the hatred that you ever had in your body, your being. Even if your perverted side managed to stop you from hating anyone, you still had hatred inside you. No matter what, you still had enough hatred. You just never shown it. Then, of course, sometimes, I decide to just take pity on you, okay? So, either you repair your mostly broken heart and doing it in the conscious world, or I'll let you go outside and go Juggernaut Drive and kill a bunch of people. This is where, mostly Issei was scared in that mostly hearing that first option. He then thinks about it and decides to look at the darkness version of himself. This is where, he sighs. He had no other option because pretty much he is quite unstable. He was literally cutting himself. Literally, he had no one to talk to. The song that he was hearing was pretty good, but at the same time, it was a song that literally gave him too many flashbacks and memories and other things. This is where, he then kind of just looks at mostly the dark version of himself. And this is where he sighs and says, fine, Aku, you win. I will take the second option. I will let you take over my body. Clearly, you can do whatever, but no killing anyone. You realize I'm your darkness version of yourself. You do realize that I could lie and tell you that I'm pretty much... I don't even know why you choose that. Why, anyway? You could realize that I can always just, say, I won't kill anyone, but I can kill anyone because I don't care because I'm your nightmare version. This is where Issei looks at the nightmare version and just like smiles gently and just says, I know you can do that. But then again, you probably would have a good reason to kill someone. Because you're the much smarter version of myself, isn't that true? This is where Aku kind of just says, it seems that you're quite not that dumb that I thought about. But yes, I am kind of your smart version. Without mostly the perverted side of yours, mostly since you have the perverted side most of the time, I was basically able to be the smart one. So yeah, this is where mostly Issei chuckles and says, I see. Well then, this is where Issei pulls out his hand right in front of mostly Aku. Aku looks at him, narrows his eyes and decides to sigh, and decides to also pull out his own hands. His grayish, darkish hands meet up with mostly the tannish skin of Issei's. This is where mostly Aku says, listen here. I'm doing this just because since you're the original and I don't want to die anytime soon, because why not? I still want to live. I guess I'll do this just because, well, I don't want you to use Juggernaut Drive or use that stupid fucking dragon power. Also, if you come back, mostly if you manage to fix your heart and other things and repair or whatever and blah blah blah, you might be a little bit different when you come back because I am going to train your body like hell. At the same time, I'm going to learn other things. This is what he says, and what's those things? I'm going to literally teach your mind and body to learn how to fucking use, well, actual fighting style instead of your dumbass using the street battle style I have never fucking seen. This is where Issei chuckles saying, I guess, sure you can do that. Also, I'm going to retrain your body like hell. Also, you might not come back being similar the same, because I am taking control of your body fully. So, mostly you're going to have fully black hair, jet black hair, reddish eyes, and of course, might be having a little bit whitish skin. This is where Issei sweats up and says, really? Yes, you dumbass. You don't let the nightmare version take control of your body. This is where mostly Issei chuckles and says, I guess that's the case. But then again, I am in no mind state to actually be control of my own body. This is where Issei said. This is where Aku sighs and says, yes, that is correct. You are right now in no shape or form of mindset to actually be able to control your body. Because your mostly your shattered heart that is right now still into a million fragments thanks to the others, those dumbasses. Well, since I don't really have a heart and really don't need that heart because you're going to take it to the conscious world, mostly I'm not really going to have any emotions. Also, if girls decide to go after me, I will try to figure out which one would be good enough for you, because I'm not going to be a dumbass and go lustful. But yeah, this is where mostly Issei chuckles and says, I see. Also, later on, I'm going to kill that lustful side of yours, because I'm going to fucking rip it apart, murder it, and then fucking throw it in the trash can. Because I swear to God, that lustful self of yours was the reason in why you got into half of this fucking problem in the first place. This is where mostly Issei chuckles and says, I see. Other than that, this is where Aku's voice started becoming deeper, becoming back into the kind of, monstrous kind of form. This is where mostly Aku says, other than that, good luck with your rebirthness or repetition or whatever the fuck that word even means. Mostly just coming back when mostly you're rebirth and you're fine, healthy, or whatever. With whatever. I don't remember the word and I don't care. This is where, mostly Aku kind of walks past mostly Issei, while mostly Issei walks past Aku. This is where Issei right now has this like floating kind of heartbeat, right next to his hand. And right now, mostly in his left hand, and this is where it's right now kind of all cracked and ripped. This is where it had bandages, but they're leaking out. This is where, this liquid started falling out of the heart. Issei looks at it, and pretty much it's the heart of love. Well, mostly the heart is actually kind of a little bit golden, but at the same time just kind of red. But it's pretty much just love, the heart of love, to kind of love people. But it's a little bit rip and shatter. This is where mostly Issei sighs and decides to go to the conscious world, while mostly Aku decides to go into mostly taking control of Issei's body, becoming the new kind of user of Issei's body. But yeah, This is where, well, Aku kind of says, well, it's time for mayhem and destruction. This is where, well, we go into mostly Aku kind of scream because it kind of hurt him a little bit to actually becoming the true user a little bit. Because mostly he's doing this with a conscious state of mind because, yeah. This is where, well, Aku says, that fucking hurt and it felt very weird. Okay, this is where he decides to go back into his normal self, most of the humanoid figure, and decides to say, okay, this sounds better. Yeah, this is where we go into the outside. This is where, well, instead of the blood kind of dripping down, it decides to right now disappear after a while. Mostly it healed up really fast, and this is where instead of Issei having kind of tannish skin, he has a little bit palish skin. This is where, well, it's kind of a palish skin, like an unhealthy kind of skin color. It's not like, what's it called, snowy white or any of that. It is kind of white, but not that white. It's kind of grayish a little bit. This is where, well, his eye color is no longer a goldenish brown, but instead of being red, blood red entirely. His hair is actually slowly turning black. But this is where, well, Aku kind of now looks into the fountain, looks at the stupid hairstyle that mostly fucking Issei had, because mostly Aku's hairstyle was mostly down, instead of having it kind of looking like Issei's entirely. But yeah, Aku says, you what? Gotta change all this hairstyle. Gotta also change his clothing that fucking Issei wears. Because, oh my fucking god, he had no fashion sense. Or any of it. Fuck it, I don't even have fashion sense. I'm not the fashionable side of Issei. I don't care. But other than that, I should probably go to the store. Luckily, I don't have any feelings, so I have no emotions of sadness, anger, or any of that. Well, I mean, I do have anger, but not much. Now, time to get to the store. We go into literally Issei getting to the store, like literally kind of going there. He didn't even go back home. He literally went to the store, bought some clothing, and came out looking like this. So pretty much he had like this kind of like grayish, kind of like grayish long sleeve button up shirt, but not the point. He also came back kind of having a scarf, mostly like this black and white kind of grayish scarf. So of course he also has this like somewhat, it looks like a scarf, but it's actually a hood. It kind of can just be somewhat of a hood, somewhat, but not the point. Well, it is kind of with the long sleeve kind of shirt, but not the point. That's buttoned up, but not the point neither. This is where, well, he puts it on and just kind of thinks about stuff. This is where, well, he's covering up his black hair. His reddish eyes are being covered up by black shade glasses because, well, first of all, people are going to get scared of his blood crimson red eyes. So, of course, yeah, he's not going to try to scare the shit of them. And, of course, thanks to his tannish, well, mostly his, well, no longer tannish skin, but instead of being a kind of grayish color a little bit, or whitish, he needs to kind of cover that shit up also. For right now, he's walking out, and of course, he has his hair down because, well, first of all, he hated Issei's hairstyle. Like, god damn it, Issei, why did he wear something? Or had his, well, mostly had his hair, like, looking like a goddamn anime protagonist. Which Aku hates anime protagonists because they always have to be good and bad, or mostly just good and other things. Well, mostly Aku is not a good person. He's a nightmare version of Issei. So, of course, he's going to be, like, mostly the villain most of the time. But this is where Aku decides to leave the store and actually go to see if there's any dojos being, well, open. And maybe he will be able to enroll in one of the classes or something. This is where, well, he goes into a couple of dojos. Yeah, some of them were not interesting to himself. The reason why is because mostly Aku could overpower the dojo master pretty easily. And he wants a dojo master that can actually take him serious. And not look at him like someone that just doesn't know anything about fighting. Aku knows a bit about fighting. He's not like an idiot like fucking Issei where he just throws a powerful punch like, hit harder. While Aku does want to know about martial arts, he knows a little bit from just movies. You get the point. Yeah. Instead of mostly having things to do in mostly conscious, because yes, that's where he mostly was at, in the darkness pit of the conscious or whatever. But that's where, well, he had mostly movies. He can always just look into Issei's mindscape. And mostly in the kiddish version of Issei. Because mostly when Issei was a kid, he would have watched a bunch of like action movies most of the time with his parents. Now that he's older, it's mostly a bunch of perverted shit that Aku does not even want to touch even one bit. he met with mostly he then meet up with lustful Issei one time, mostly the lustful version of Issei, and Aku just for some reason wanted to clock the fucker out. Like, not for some reason. He wanted to murder the fucking lustful version. It was just annoyment. The fucker really would not leave anyone alone because he was looking for females and other things, while mostly Aku wanted to just straight up punch a motherfucker. He would have straight up went into his demonic form and beat the shit out of the lustful self if it wasn't for the fact that the lustful self is literally almost a part of, well, the original. This is where, well, mostly a bunch of people will be questioning now why Issei isn't lustful no more. Now, of course, this is where Aku, he's not going to be lustful. He doesn't care. He's going to change the original so much because he clearly needs to change the original so much to becoming a decent human being. Kind of. Not really. He just really, pretty much in his mostly opinion, decency is pretty much just ignoring everyone. That's his opinion. He actually don't know how a decent human being is having to react with girls or any of that. But he's just thinking that it's just ignoring everyone. But yeah, guy, female, fucking devil, or any of that bullcrap. But yeah. But we go into mostly him going to 6 different dojos, and of course finding not really any single one interesting. I mean, he found one of them that was quite interesting, but it was mostly like a self-defense one, which entirely, if he wanted to self-defense, yeah, that would be cool. But he wants an offense one and a self-defense one. I mean, yes, they do teach him only self-defense, but he wants offense also. So of course he decides to think of the mostly defense one later because he's looking for an offense. But yeah, mostly just offensive one, not a defensive one. But yeah. But we go into mostly him going to literally the last one that's quite literally far away and kind of a little bit further away from Kuwa a little bit, but not the point. He managed to get here because someone managed to kind of tell him about this person and other things. He's quite a very heavy, like, he's pretty much like a slave, or not slave, mostly like a what's it called, what was it called? He's literally a fucking slave worker, literally just going to run your shit into the ground until you fucking get as strong enough as he is, because he wants you to learn some of these martial techniques, but they're quite offense. At the same time, you need to be kind of physical strong to actually learn these kind of techniques, and they're offense, and they're quite powerful, but not many people can flex their body. So of course, mostly the Aku, who's not Issei. This is where I'm actually gonna call him Aku most of the time, not Issei, but yeah, you get the point. But Aku managed to get to the place, and of course he went up some stairs, pretty far. They were like really far, but of course he walks up there, and he didn't care. He was also hearing the song, mostly some of the songs that mostly Issei was hearing, and it was one of the songs was just random. That's why he managed to hear it. But yeah, this is where, well, he decided to kind of play some of the songs that mostly the Citizens of Soldier has. But yeah, mostly some of the other playlists of songs. But yeah. So pretty much the song he's hearing is called Talk Me Down by the same creator I was talking about, but yeah. But we go into mostly Aku kind of getting to the place, and of course where, well, he decides to fight against the person because he asked the person to kind of train him in the kind of like martial arts that the man trains in, or mostly kind of like teaches. But yeah, and he really doesn't have many like students, so of course the only other student that he ever trained was actually his grandson, and also another kid, but not the point. This is where, well, he then looks up to see mostly Aku. This is where, well, he looks at Aku and says, "Aren't you a little too emo for this, kid?" This is where Aku kind of narrows his eyes and says, "Fuck you, old man." This is where, well, mostly Aku kind of narrows his eyes and mostly the old man. And this is where, well, the old man chuckles and says, "I'm kidding. But if you're really sure about this, then show me your motivation, kid." This is where, well, mostly Aku kind of just grins and says, "Bring it then." This is where, well, Aku starts trying to mostly fight it. Mostly it was a spar versus mostly the older man. The older man can actually see that Aku can actually stretch his body to quite unnormal limbs because, well, most time when he's sparring with other people, some people can't really even stretch that far and of course can't kick that far or whatever. But of course this is where he noticed the kid has so much potential and talent. This is where, well, he noticed that maybe the kid of course can't really kick that well, mostly like learn, well, he doesn't really have the basic knowledge of martial arts, but it seems that he tries. This is where, well, The person right now stops the kick in an instant, and this is where he managed to punch Issei in the stomach so hard, or mostly Aku, and this is where, well, Aku coughed up blood a little bit, but not blood, mostly just coughed up spit and got knocked out. This is where Aku said, damn it. This is where Aku kind of grins because he kind of noticed how mostly the older man wasn't trying, but of course he noticed that, well, the older man had lots of literal experience against mostly fighting styles. And of course, Aku knows that he just sucked at fighting, but yeah. But this is where, well, the older man says, how about this, kid? I'll train you, and I don't need any payment or any of that, if that's what you're wondering. Aku was actually about to pull out his, like, wallet from mostly Issei, but not the point. He didn't really know how much Issei even has in his wallet, but yeah. This is where, well, he does. He just did waste a couple of money, but not the point. He didn't really care. This is where, well, mostly Aku looks up, and this is where, well, the older man, he has mostly, he kind of looks like this. Pretty much, he does look like this, and he, what's it called? So yeah, it's none other than Taijin, well, mostly Jin Taijin, but yeah. Pretty much that's the martial arts master that he wants to actually learn from, but yeah. But this is where, well, mostly Taijin kind of says, so, I'll teach you, kid. I'll teach you the ways of our martial arts. But first, we gotta train your body to see and how physically strong you are. Because even though you look kind of, mostly physically strong, you don't look that physically strong. This is where, well, Issei kind of scoffs and says, would I be able to take another martial arts kind of style at the same time with training with you? This is where, well, mostly Issei question, or not Issei, mostly Aku question, well, Jin. This is where Jin kind of looks at him and says, what other martial arts style are you going to think of taking? This is where, well, mostly Aku stands up and kind of dusts himself off. And this is where, well, Aku says, so I want to learn your martial arts because it seems to be an offense. But I also do want to learn defense. Because, well, the other martial arts style was actually kind of by an old man named Bang. Ah, Bang, this is what Jin kind of said. The old man, yes, he's quite very good in that style of, well, stream water smashing fists. So, yeah, I don't really mind if you take his class also. You would just have to tell me the schedule and how it's going to work. This is where, well, Issei, or not Issei, mostly, I'm going to keep fucking up. Aku kind of thinks about it and remembers that mostly the fight of Sir Orcus will be mostly in 3 months. He doesn't know how long Issei, the original, will stay in the conscious world, but he then thinks about that he needs to train his body. He needs to actually get physical, like rip or something. Not that rip, similar to that of Jin or even what's it called, Bang. Well, mostly closer to Bang's kind of like mostly being strong, kind of lean, but yeah. He doesn't want to be that buff like what's it called, Jin. No offense to Jin's kind of like mostly body structure, but still, he just doesn't want to be that big. But yeah, he just wants to be kind, well, let me say that again. Kind of flexible and able to kind of beat the shit out of people in an instant. But yeah, this is where, well, he's not going to talk to the damn dragon because the dragon is still going to ignore Issei's feelings and other shit. So, of course, he's not going to talk to that damn dragon. Or dragon. Sorry if I keep fucking up. But yeah. But this is where, well, we'll see. Aku is going to just ignore the dragon because he can't really awaken mostly the Daedric with his emotions because he's not going to feel any emotions. But yeah. So, of course, if he doesn't feel any emotions, like anger or any of that other stuff, then mostly he will be in the clear and Daedric won't question who exactly he is. So, yeah. This is where, well, mostly Aku kind of nodded. This is where, well, he then kind of asked mostly Jin about his own kind of like training kind of regiment and other things and how mostly the schedule is going to be. So he can talk to Bang about mostly his own, the others and other thing. This is where, well, Taijin says that he can actually call Bang to see if he has mostly, well, not room, but to see in the schedule and other things. So, of course, that's what Jin did. He knows about cell phone and other things. And, of course, where, well, mostly we go into someone literally answering the phone. And that's where, well, they talk about Issei's regiment and training. Or not Issei. Because pretty much Issei, or mostly not Issei, Aku does kind of put his name, Aku, into mostly the signing papers and other things. So he can train and learn the martial arts. So, of course, pretty much his training with mostly Jin would be mostly Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, so pretty much those 4 days, while mostly Bang's training would be, well, mostly Thursday, Friday, well, no, not, let me say that again. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, but yeah, in those 4 days, but yeah. Actually, no, wait, I'm fucking this up, wait. So, let me say it again. So, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday would be mostly Issei training with Taijin. So, yeah. And of course, Bang will be mostly with Thursday, Friday, and... Wait, am I fucking this up? Yeah. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But yeah. Wednesday will actually be a free day for Issei not to train, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly Issei nodded and of course decided to kind of go on with the training. Or mostly for the next day, because he needs to rest up. This is where, well, he really doesn't need much sleep because he's the nightmare version, and of course sleep is not that much needed. But if he wants to get mostly Issei's body physically strong and not be sleep deprived, he's going to need to sleep. But yeah. So of course, well, we go into, well, Aku getting not home. He decides to just buy an apartment. He's like, fuck it, because pretty much he doesn't want to see the girls or any of them and make them question in who exactly he is. And Aku is not gonna go with that whole bullshit explaining about he's Issei but he's Aku, and because most of the girls are trying to force him away from mostly Issei, somehow kind of get rid of him and make Issei come back and be in such a broken state of emotions that he might activate the Juggernaut state drive. So yeah. This is where, well, Aku's going to be like, yeah, no, those fucking idiots would do something stupid like that. Whatever. He falls asleep. Of course, he's not really asleep. That's just his body, like, resting. Well, of course, he goes into the conscious world and sees Dietrich right now still snoring. He knows that this damn Red Dragon Emperor actually takes such long naps. But then again, he doesn't care too much. This is where, well, we go into a time skip later on. Pretty much a time skip of actually 2 weeks. Issei hasn't really shown up to the school for 2 weeks because, well, he's been training like hell. But yeah. Of course, he has done some of the paperwork and other shit because, well, he does go into school into the after late hours after mostly some of the students manage to leave. He does meet up with some of the teachers and does talk to them about what he has been doing and pretty much just tell them a kind of somewhat lie but at the same time the truth. So pretty much he just say that he's been kind of like mostly been with his grandparents and he's been in a very bad state, being depressed and other things. So of course that's why he's not really been in school too much. He also did ask the principal about the being able to have a leeway. So of course the principal said sure. He was surprised to hear that Issei had a very mostly severe case of depression. But of course, well, he decided to let Issei have a leeway. And when the teacher did ask mostly the principal did tell them about it. But yeah. So of course Issei just gets to do his like mostly schoolwork while training, or mostly doing it mostly on Wednesday, finish it on Wednesday, then when he gets mostly the rest on like Thursday and Friday, he kind of finished it also. But yeah, and yeah, you get the point. So pretty much he did lie that he had a severe case of depression, because it's not a lie. He really just, it's really not a lie. But yeah. So of course with that happening, he is right now kind of just been doing that for straight 2 weeks. Until mostly he goes on a Wednesday, mostly a Wednesday being him having a relaxed time. And of course he has finished all his paperwork and other stuff. And so he could either relax being in his like mostly apartments or go outside. He decides to go with plan A and go outside, but yeah. Or not plan A, plan B, but yeah, I'm an idiot, but wait. So pretty much he went outside, and of course what he saw when he went outside just to kind of like walk around, just so he can have a little bit more exercise, is that when he was walking around, he saw something that he probably shouldn't have seen, or yeah, he probably should have seen, is mostly Rias with another guy. And that's the word, well, mostly Aku doesn't seem not to care too much, because you see here, Aku is not the loved one, he's not the original, so of course he really doesn't care. All he thinks in his head is, I fucking called it. Yes, because Aku knows that mostly Rias is the type of girls who probably cheat on mostly the original's kind of like fragile heart. So of course Aku, since he doesn't have a heart, he really doesn't care. He does feel anger and hatred, but other than that, he actually becomes stronger, by the way. Yes. If he can feel hatred and anger rise within him, yeah, he becomes stronger. But of course, if the conscious, or not conscious, the original isn't here, the original will not go into a juggernaut state, or drive, or any of that. So of course, well, he sees both of them. He walks past them, and since Rias doesn't recognize Issei, thanks to his new change, or mostly Aku, she doesn't know who exactly it is. Also, what's it called? She can't really sense his demonic energy because Issei, also known as Aku, did kind of got rid of the, what's it called, Gremory kind of like magic kind of symbol on him. So just to show that he's a normal human. And yes, even with his demonic state, mostly the demonic evil pieces, he kind of got rid of them. Yeah, he pretty much didn't really need them. He destroyed them within his body, literally, quite easily. He could have also done it to the Red Dragon Emperor just to get him out of his own body, but yeah. But instead, he needed the Red Dragon Emperor just to show that he is the Red Dragon Emperor when he shows up, and not looks like some kind of random dumbass, but yeah. And he wants the original to have at least one friend, even though that one friend is truly a fucking betrayer or something like that. This is where, well, Aku can kind of use fucking Diedrich as a fucking just somewhat friend. Not really. If mostly Diedrich does this shit again, he's going to get rid of him, but yeah. But right now, mostly Aku walks past mostly both of them, and of course, mostly seeing Rias being happy, cheerful. Of course, he doesn't really care too much, and seeing the kind of dark-haired person. Mostly, the person has kind of blackish hair, but it's not jet black hair like Aku's. And of course, well, the person has kind of like these bluish kind of eyes, similar to that of like Kiba's, but not much. And this is where, well, the person looks kind of familiar for some reason. This is where, well, mostly Aku says, he looks familiar. And there's mostly this feeling of like a friend. Wait a minute. This is where Aku kind of turns back around and see the person closely. And this is where, well, for some reason, he noticed that the person doesn't really have a large build or any of that. He doesn't have much muscular form or anything. And realizes this motherfucker is none other than Morohama. This is where, well, mostly Issei says, I see, Morohama. I don't really care. This is not some kind of cuck situation where mostly Aku kind of just says, this is not really some cuck situation because I don't really love her and I don't care about her. And the original has no feelings no more because when he is rebirthed, he's going to learn about the truth and other things. So it's pretty much not really a cuck situation. And I don't care. But maybe I can really hurt him. Yeah, I can still kick his ass. You know what? I'm gonna do it. This is where, well, Aku right now disappears into the shadows and right now transforming into a black figure, literally a black demonic figure. This is where, well, he became into literally this, and this is where, well, Aku says it's time to rip, shred, and tear. This is where, well, he right now appears right now in public, but not really many people did spot him. This is where Aku right now bursts into speed, crushing the ground in an instant and rushing straight towards Rias and mostly, what's it called, Morohama. Before Morohama or even Rias can react, this is where, well, all that Rias thought was actually turning, well, mostly she turned around to actually kind of look at something because she got interested and she wanted to ask mostly Morohama to buy it for her. She turned around just a split of 1 second before mostly seeing, well, she did not see Morohama disappear from her sight, but came back to her sight, but he was all hurt and bruised up. While mostly Aku right now appears on top of a building right now, getting out of his form, his blackish form night. This is where, well, he's grinning like a madman, saying, pathetic weakling. Yeah, he beat the shit out of Morohama. And he's not letting that slide because, well, Aku just wanted to have a little bit of seeing someone's distraught face. But yeah, he cackles and says, "Ha, suck on that, you pathetic weakling." This is where, well, Aku gets up, and this is where, well, Aku says, well, should be going then. Aku jumps off a building entirely. He was literally on top of like the tallest building. He jumped off way out of care in the world. He literally landed on the ground, crushing the ground, but not breaking the legs and just walking away. Think of it like one of those modded souls from mostly Soul Society, or yeah, from not Soul Society, from Bleach, where mostly, you know, Cone, when he jumps off a building, he crushes the ground and he doesn't break his legs. Yeah, that's how mostly Aku kind of feels like. But yeah, this is where, well, Aku started walking away and saying, well, it's time for me to get home. But before going home, for some reason there was actually a weird looking portal appearing right in front of him. Well, a reddish portal that actually sucked him in. This is where Aku was confused and was wondering where the fuck is he going. Until he landed into this place and kind of sees two people. One that he recognized, the other one he doesn't. one girl has blackish hair with kind of violet eyes, and the other girl, it kind of has mostly palish blue eyes. Yeah, palish blue eyes with kind of palish rose blonde hair into two ponytails, well not ponytails, two pigtails. And this is where, well, they look at him confusedly, and this is where Aku looks at them confusedly. Aku right now points at the blackish hair girl saying, you're Rainer, aren't you? This is where the girl widens her eyes and says, how do you? This is where, well, the girl who's right now seems a little bit older than the other one, kind of steps right in front of Rainer and says, and who exactly are you? This is where Aku says, the name's Aku. And, if you're wondering who exactly I am fully, I'm just someone that actually knows her. That we have never really met, I can say that for sure, but not the case. How should I say? Were you the one to pull me into this dimension? This is where Aku kind of knows his eyes. His red crimson eyes, well, thanks to his dark shade glasses. His dark shade glasses towards mostly the palish blue kind of eyes. This is where, well, mostly the girl kind of says, no, actually, maybe. I don't know how this dimension really works. It sucks in anyone that has very negative feelings similar to my kind of power. This is where, well, mostly Aku says negative feelings. This is where, well, she nodded. You see here, like despair. I have a power that's actually kind of makes me get stronger over despair. This is where, well, Rainer also scoffs and says also kind of get their pleasure to seeing other people in despair. This is where, well, the girl right now punches the shit out of mostly Rainer in the head, and this is where Rainer kind of screams and say, ow! Big sis, what the hell? This is where Junko says, shut up. This is where, well, mostly Junko, yeah, that's her actual name, and this is where, well, mostly Aku says, I see. Well, I don't get stronger over seeing someone in despair. Well, I do, but mostly I see hatred, madness, malice, and other things. So I get stronger from all the other things. This is where, well, Junko winds her eyes. She says, I see. So you're someone so much more powerful than me. I can't believe someone can actually go through that many emotions. That many dark emotions. Well, you can clearly notice that I'm not entirely human if you actually notice. Well, yes, I noticed that real quick. You're not a devil. You're human, but not entirely. What are you exactly? You can call me a nightmare. This is where mostly Junko kind of like narrows her eyes and says, a nightmare? Odd? What is a nightmare? It's kind of technically with humans, but not the point. This is where, well, mostly Aku says, you can technically say that nightmares are within the deep conscious of a human's kind of like conscious. And we usually take over the human if the human doesn't have a strong will. Or if they just die and never unlock the nightmare version of them. So, but yeah. This is where, well, Junko says, so you took over your original's body. Not out of force. It was mostly pretty easy because a person gave up pretty easily. And it was thanks none other to your sister right there. She shattered someone's heart, and pretty much it was pretty easy to take over his body. This is where, well, Junko narrowed her eyes at her sister because she knows that her sister is already dead and should be in Hades' realm, but luckily for her, she managed to kind of pull her into this realm instead. This is where, well, making Junko narrow her eyes and says, really, Rainer? You did something like that? Who the hell did you do it to? This is where, well, Rainer says, no one, except for a boy named Issei Body. This is where, well, Junko turns back around and says, what was her name? Aku. Aku usually just means nightmare. So, what is the boy's name that you're right now possessed of? Damn, it seems that you're quite smart. Yes, the boy that I am possessed of right now is Issei Body. But you can call me Aku, because I'm not going to be named Issei Body. Because Issei Body should be in the conscious right now. But you said that nightmare should already absorb the original's kind of spirits and other things. Yes, that would be in some cases, but this one was a little bit different, you can say. I didn't fully absorb his energy. I instead decided to help him out. The boy was actually in a desperate situation that he might have accidentally unlocked Juggernaut Drive. And also, I'm gonna say one fucking thing. Can I kill that bitch over there behind you? This is where, well, Rainer won her eyes, realizing that this is Issei, but Issei is no longer the one in control right now, but instead Aku. This is where, well, making Rainer kind of hide behind Junko, and Junko says, I would love for you to kill her, because she's been nothing but an annoying bitch, always annoying me. Kind of Yeah, this is where, well, mostly Junko, when I joke, mostly Reina looks at Junko wide eyes and says, really, sis? I've been nothing but an annoyment? I've been keeping you company. Yeah, I kind of regretted to ever letting you be in my domain, because you've been nothing but an annoyment, and I haven't gotten any stronger from seeing anyone else in despair. Because all of them will always be lustful and horny to you. Do you see the other guys that I had to kill? This is where Aku kind of noticed the dead bodies and say, damn. And I can barely feel any fucking, like, hatred or malice from their bodies, even though they're dead. Junko says, exactly. Those bastards were literally horny and just lustful towards Rainer. And I can't get any stronger thanks to that feeling. This is where, well, mostly Junko kind of notices and says, and that means you can't get stronger neither. Yes, I'm not the lustful version of Issei. So with that, mostly the lustful and I are completely different people. This is where, well, mostly Junko nods and says, I see. Well, if you notice this, I would love for you to kill this bitch. But then again, she's already dead. She needs to be in the Hades realm. Hades realm? Alright. I forgot. She died thanks to that red-haired slut. This is where, well, we'll see. Junko says, yeah, that red-haired bitch. What's her name? Fucking Ria's Gremory? Yeah, I've heard of her from mostly Rainer's kind of story. And the fact that you call her a slut, that means that mostly the original and that red hair had it have a fight. A small fight, making you come out and having to have to help him. Am I right? This is where Aku chuckles and says, yeah, you're right. This is where, well, mostly Junko kind of smiles and I knew it. This is where, well, mostly Rainer and mostly, just Rainer looks between mostly Aku and mostly Junko. This is where she realized that both of them are literally similar the same. This is where just evil psychopath murderers. This is where, well, Rainer right now just doesn't know what to do. Aku says, how about this? This place is a dark dimension place, right? This is your kingdom, but also your sealment. This is where Junko says, how did you? This is where, well, Aku says, I can sense a bit of holy energy. How should I say, unholy energy. A specific holy energy from a person named Azel. Yeah, Azel, the government leader of the Goryeo. This is where, well, mostly Junko nodded. He's my father. And since you say that he's your father, which is a surprise, if I was the original, I would be dumb, shocked, and found it, but I'm not. That also means that Rainer is your sister, being that she's the younger daughter of Azel. Interesting. And he really let two of his daughters just suffer. I didn't think that he was actually a good person. Then again, I can always feel the negative version from him. But not the point. Other than that, I'll help you kind of get out of this dimension. If you could what? How shall I say? If you can help the original's heart. This is where, well, we'll see. Junko says, the original's heart? Alright, you were talking about something like that. Sure. But no promises. I might be a fallen angel, so I don't know why you should trust me too much. You're right, I shouldn't. This is where, well, we'll see Aku right now grins and goes into his dark form version. This is not the balance breaker of the Red Dragon Emperor making Rainer wine her eyes. Junko narrow her eyes, and of course, well, mostly the dark version of Aku says, now it's time to rip and shatter and murder. This is where, well, he disappears from mostly Junko and Rainer's view, and of course, all around them, the dimension, mostly the seals, started being destroyed in an instant. This is where Aku appears right in front of them again, having multiple chains all around him, but mostly in his hands. This is where he kind of looked like this, when he got out of his dark version self. So pretty much, just think of Gojo mostly like Aku, who has mostly blackish hair. Instead of bluish eyes, they're kind of a blood crimson red, mostly a blood, well, crimson blood red eyes, but yeah, and he just turns around coldly and looks at the two girls, but yeah. This is where his eyes kind of glowing with a red kind of tint, and this is where, well, mostly Aku says, done, finish. This is where he drops the chains in an instant down to the ground, while mostly Junko has a tint of blush, mostly Rainer is just scared shitless, cause what the fuck. This is no longer Issei, this is literally someone else. This is where, well, she is scared shitless, but yeah. But of course, where Aku says, let's go already. This is where, well, Aku starts walking away, and a portal actually appears, but yeah. This is where they follow along, but for right now, I'm gonna leave it off here for mostly part one of this what if Aku took over Issei's body, but other than that, by saying yeah. Yes, I now thought of the what if idea name, but not the point. I might have fucked up on some of my words because I'm getting kind of sick and I'm fucking up on a lot of things, but other than that, by saying yeah.